Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to Kings Heath National Spiritualist Church virtual service. Tonight, I will be our chairperson. My name is Liz Wellham-Daly, and our guest medium will be Yvonne Walker. I hope this service finds you all well, and our healing thoughts are being sent out to you all. I will now ask Yvonne to open in prayer. Thank you, Yvonne.
Good evening and welcome to the Divine Service for Kings Heath Spiritualist Church. If you'd like to join me in prayer. Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, we thank you for your love, your light and your healing. We ask for that healing to be sent to our beautiful Mother Earth and our wonderful animal kingdom. We also ask for it to be sent out across the world and for it to be dispersed up into the universe to wherever it is needed. We send special thoughts to those who have recently taken their transition and for the families and the friends who are left behind here grieving. We ask for this service to be kept in your care and your keeping, and that which is love. Amen.
Thank you very much, Yvonne, for your prayer. Tonight's reading I have taken from a little book called A Small Illustrated Guide to the Universe. And this is the introduction. A sense of wonder can find you in many forms, sometimes loudly, sometimes as a whispering, sometimes even hiding inside other feelings, being in love, or unbalanced, or blue. For me, it is looking at the night for so long that my eyes ache and I'm stuck seeing stars for hours afterwards. Watching the way the ocean sways itself to sleep, or as the sky washes itself in colours for which I know I will never have the words. A world made from layers of rock and fossil and glittered imaginings that keep tripping me up, demanding I pay attention to one leaf at a time, ensuring I can never pick up quite where I left off. When one is considering the universe, unseen matter, our small backyard of the stuff, I think it is important, sensible even, to try and find some balance between laughter and uncontrollable weeping. Cry because we cannot even begin to understand how beautiful it is. Cry because we are terribly flawed as a species. Cry because it all seems so shockingly improbable that maybe our existence could be nothing but a dreamscape, celestial elephants in rooms without walls. But then surely we can laugh. Laugh because being riddled head to toe with human emotions while trying to come to terms with just how indisputably tiny we are in the grand scheme of things makes absolutely everything and everyone seem quite ridiculous, entirely farcical. We have heads, ridiculous. There are arguments about who is in charge here, ridiculous. The universe is expanding, ridiculous. We feel it is necessary to keep secrets, ridiculous. A lot of our time is spent trying to tie up loose ends, trying to shape disorder into something recognisably smooth, trying to escape the very limits that hold us close, happily ignoring rough edges and the inevitable. We separate ourselves out into the past, present and future, if only to show that we have changed, that we know better, that we have understood something inherent, if only to draw neat lines from start to finish without looking back. The problem is that chaos is always only ever sitting just across the table, frequently glancing up from its newspaper, from its coffee cup filled with discoloured and imploding stars, because chaos too waits. waits for you to notice it, for you to realise it's the most dazzling thing you've ever seen, for all of your atoms to collectively shriek in belated recognition and stare, mouth open, at how exquisitely embedded it is in everything. Because we are not designed to be more orderly than anything else. Seams have a tendency to come apart with time. You and the universe are the same in this way, which makes for a delicately overwhelming struggle. So then, if you can't ever end things neatly, can't ever put them back quite the way you found them, surely the alternative is to remain stubbornly carbonated with possibility, to never rest from your rotation, to keep assembling stories between us, stories about how everything was everything, about how much we loved. Thank you for listening. We now come to the part of the service where I will ask Yvonne to give her philosophy. Thank you, Yvonne.
Good evening. I'm Yvonne Walker and I'll be giving the philosophy for this evening. And I'd like to speak to you about faith. And if you'll just bear with me, I'm just going to read out what the meaning of faith is. Faith, at its core, is deep-rooted in the expectation of good things to come. It goes beyond hope. While much of hope lives in the mind, faith is steeped in the heart and the spirit. While life can be hard at the best of times, faith is the knowledge that deep down inside, things will get better. So, faith is extremely important, not only to myself, but I know to yourselves as well. We are going through something currently that I don't think many of us would have envisaged would have happened in any of our lifetimes. And I do believe that faith and hope are intertwined. Hope is something as simple as, hoping that your family are happy and that they're healthy. Some of us hope to win the lottery. Let's be honest, you hope for things like that, even though you generally know that the likelihood of that happening is quite tiny. So we all hope that what is going on at the moment will be over with as quickly as is able and is safe to do so. But our faith also plays a real large part in that. We have to have faith that Spirit and all those who work around us here on the earth and in spirit know exactly what should happen and when it should happen. I have to say I have absolute faith in Spirit. I think as part of our human journey we don't always have faith in ourselves, and I know that in particular over the last few months I've lost a little bit of that faith in myself, and I'm sure that we all have due to the circumstances that we are currently going through at the moment. But not once have I ever lost my faith in Spirit. So we were having a discussion the other evening when I was in one of my meditations, and we were talking about how everything is at the moment, and they had told me that this is what they wanted me to talk about with you today. So our faith tends to be deep rooted, and I don't think it actually matters what you class as your religion or who your God is, who you pray to, or your gods. Your faith comes from deep within, as the definition said, from your heart and deep within your spirit. So the number of changes that are taking place over the world currently are huge. I don't think I've ever seen so much going on globally as I have done in the last 3 months. I think this, as a lot of you will be aware, is a time of great transition and change, and that doesn't matter what your religion is, what your beliefs are, if you believe in God or if you don't believe in God. Every single human on the planet will have in some way sensed the change in the energy and the change in our thoughts and our processes, and something as simple down to in the way that we work. These changes and transitions are so important in order for us to be able to move forward, not only on a human level but also on a spiritual level. I think we're seeing what they are calling as a great awakening in how we view each other, in how we view the world, in how we view our beautiful Mother Earth. Now, I work a lot with nature spirits and elementals, so that is so important to me, and she has been saying for quite some time now, something needs to change, and I've found it amazing over the last few months with the reduction in cars on the roads and aeroplanes, etc., just how much clearer the air feels, and when you look up at the sky, it just looks so much bluer. Absolutely beautiful. One of the things that we do need to be reminded of, though, is that all these changes and this transition that we are going through at the moment, we need to be able to keep that up. One of the things that we can't let happen as a society, as the human race, is for us to be able to just suddenly settle back into the way that we were before. I'm not going to lie, I think these changes have been quite difficult, possibly, well, definitely more difficult for some than for others, and no matter what, there will always be a group of people who won't actually even recognise that these changes need to happen. It will be, oh, we can just go back to how we were before. I think it's really important that as light workers and those who work with spirit, that we enlighten people and ask them to actually just think about that conversation, and how just by making some real small changes we can actually make such a difference, and come out of this period of transition and change enlightened, happier, giving back to our earth, because I think one thing that we have to remember is that we're here, I always say we're here by invitation. She looks after us, so we should look after her. So to go back to my first point when I was speaking about faith, I think we have to have faith that everything that has happened and everything that is going to happen over the coming months, there's a reason. It's not always comfortable and it can unsettle us, but what we will have at the end will be an enlightened and an awakened world, and Spirit will help us with that. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I really can't wait to see you all back at church as soon as we possibly can. God bless.
Thank you very much, Yvonne, for your inspiring words. I will now just give you another short poem, really. It's from a book called I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud and Other Poems You Half Remember from School. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line among the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. Thank you. I will now ask Yvonne to give us her closing prayer.
Good evening. If you would like to join me in closing prayer. Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, thank you for your beautiful words here this evening. We ask for a blessing to be placed on all those who are watching this here, and for that blessing to be placed out across the world. Thank you for your love, your light and your healing. And until we can meet again, Amen.
Thank you very much, Yvonne, for being our medium for this evening. Thank you for your prayer, your inspiring words, and thank you everyone for coming in and listening in. We hope that all the healing this evening that has been built up in the beautiful energies will be spread out to everyone who is in need. And the committee wish you all well and are very much looking forward to seeing you all sometime in the future. And God bless and see you soon.